In example 3, we have a chemistry problem, a mixture problem, where a person is preparing 14 liters of a 52% alcohol solution. We know that they have a 44% and a 76% solution available. The question is, how many liters of the 44% and how many liters of the 76% solution should they mix to obtain the 52% solution? We'll start with, again, what to me seems like the easier part of this. We know that in the end, we need to have 14 total liters of solution. And we're going to get that solution by mixing X liters of the first solution and Y liters of the second solution. So however much of the first plus however much of the second, that total has to equal 14. Now we need to set up the more complicated formula, which with mixture problems always follows a similar pattern. There is some total amount of liquid or liters of a solution that we need. So we'll call that L sub T, the total amount of liquid or the total amount of liters of this mixture, times the percent that total mixture should be. In this case, that's going to be 52%. And we're going to get that by mixing some number of liters of the first solution, which already has a certain percent, in this case a certain percent of alcohol, plus some amount of the second solution, which is already a certain percentage of alcohol or whatever mixture this is. So it's always going to look something like this. And in this case specifically, that's going to be 14, which is the total number of liters that we want, times 0.52. And that's coming from this statement. We want 14 liters of a 52% alcohol solution. And what we have available is a 44% solution and a 76% solution. So we're going to use some amount of this first solution, which is a 44% or 0.44, 44% alcohol solution, and some amount of the second solution, which is a 76% alcohol solution or 0.76. And then we're just going to replace that L1, L2 notation with X and Y, so we're consistent with that first equation. And then we have our pair of equations that we need to solve. We'll again ask Symbolab to solve. 14 is equal to X plus Y, and 14 times 0.52 is equal to 0.44X plus 0.76Y. And I can see that I've got a mistake in my two equations. If I look at that second equation, it says 14 times 52. That's not what I want there. That should be 0.52. I just missed that decimal place. So it's always a good idea to check that input or that statement that Symbolab thinks it's evaluating. And then what we come up with is the correct solution. X equals 10.5, Y equals 7/2. Sorry, 10.5, and then 7/2, which is the same thing as 10.5, comma 3.5. So to interpret this information, what we're saying is they should use 10.5 liters of the 44% solution and 3.5 liters of the 76% solution. And that mixture will give them the 14 liters of the 52% solution that they're after.